Hello everyone, my name is Nick Infernus and welcome back to another comic book review. So, do you guys really want to know how long it took me to put out the review for the first season of Runaways? On the day that I am recording and hopefully uploading this, I just finished season 2. I'm not kidding. It took me so long to get the reviews for both Shang-Chi and Runaway Season 1 out that I am actually reviewing Season 2 close to reviewing Season 1. I've never actually had a review get pushed back that far, but here we are. That being said, I do think that this season is a marginal improvement over the first one. It's not great, it's close, but there are some things that hold it back. But this is still a really good season. And so, what are the reasons for that? Well, for one, the characters are able to shine a lot more now that they're on the run and not focusing on putting their characters, their their parents, sorry, they're not focused on putting their parents behind bars. So we're able to spend more time with them, see them bond, really do a better job of rekindling their lost friendship than the first season, and even see them interact with some very fun side characters. And that's probably one thing about this season that I wasn't really expecting. This season has some really fun side characters. For one, there's Mike on a bike. I'm not kidding. That's a character in this season who pops up in the first 2 episodes and then never again until the last episode. And his scenes, one of his scenes in particular, results in quite possibly my favorite quote in the entire MCU. It's something said by Chase, and I'm not going to spoil it, so I definitely recommend looking up Runaways, Mike on a Bike. You'll probably find the quote somewhere if you do that. Another fun side character is Topher. Topher is a runaway who encounters the gang at some point when Molly's doing her vigilante thing, which we will get to. And what's interesting about him is that while he is able to relate to Molly on a more personal level, he's actually has a very interesting connection to Molly because he actually gets high off of the stuff that gave her her superpowers. The same rocks that gave her her super strength, he actually uses them as a kind of drug to get the same abilities. Now there is a difference. With him it's only temporary, but with her she has those powers permanently. But it is still a sweet little friendship that those two have that's also very heartbreaking when something bad does eventually happen to him. Another nice little side character that amplifies one of the main characters, and one of my least favorite of the main characters, is Livy. Livy is the sister-in-law of Darius, who is an old friend and now rival of, and well, now former rival because of events. But he's an old friend of Alex's dad, Jeffrey, and his sister-in-law, Livy, her and Alex have a really nice friendship in the first half of the season, and also a little bit in the second half for like 3 episodes. And at times, their dynamic can make Alex seem a little bit more likable, which is unfortunately not saying much given what happens in the second half. Yeah, we're definitely getting to that later. But he was at least a little bit likable thanks to Livy. And then there's AWOL. Now, this season had some great villains. Of course, there was the return of Jonah, and then Frank went absolutely crazy. But AWOL is a whole different breed of evil. He is the definition of a corrupt cop. He's willing to resort to some really dirty tricks to get the job done, and he's definitely more interested in giving orders than taking them. He stops at nothing to complete Pride's tasks. And not even that, he actually goes after his own goals as well. He's absolutely one of the best parts of the season, and I'm absolutely looking up his actor to see if he has any more work because he's did a real good job. That was a great performance in this season. Possibly the biggest improvement here, though, was actually in the story. With the first season, it was actually pretty straightforward. Kids bond while trying to take out their parents. Cool. This season is a bit more interesting because the story itself has a lot of different twists and turns. You have characters moving around a lot, characters revealing new sides to themselves, some characters being possessed by the same beings from Jonah's race and acting completely out of character. Characters die, characters switch sides. It's a lot more interesting than the first season, mainly just off of a storytelling level. This is the kind of thing where I'm actually not entirely comfortable spoiling some stuff because it's the kind of a story that I would like for you guys to experience yourself. And especially since I'm going to be taking a break from this show for, reasons outside of school, it I would recommend watching both season 1 and 2 of the show because this season's story is a real treat. That being said, I do have some issues. First of all, there's this one thing that's really annoying to me. There are just too many instances where one member of the team goes behind the entire team's back to do a thing. If I had a quarter for the amount of times this happened, I would have a whole dollar, which is not a lot, but pretty alarming that it was that many. In chronological order, Carolina goes behind the team's back multiple times to meet with Jonah and learn more about herself. Molly goes behind the team's back to be a vigilante. Gert goes behind the team's back to get her anxiety meds refilled. Alex goes behind the team's back to take revenge on his parents for the murder of Darius. That is 4 different instances where one member of the team goes behind the backs of the rest of the team just to do something that you could argue is pretty selfish. Now, with Carolina, it's kind of excusable, and same thing with Gert. And I guess kind of Molly as well. Molly's not as excusable, but with Alex, there's just no excuse. And speaking of Alex, oh man, I hate this kid. Like, I didn't like him in the first season, but after what happened in the second half of the season, yeah, I do not like this guy at all. First of all, you know how in the previous video I said that too many of these characters were hell-bent on putting their kids... Man, you know how in the first review I said that too many of the kid characters were too hell-bent on putting their parents behind bars? Can I speak? But yeah, I don't know what it is, but where everyone else seemed to tone that down, Alex got even more extreme. It's almost like the entire season, his main mission is just locking up his parents. And whenever someone comes up with an idea that involves saving one of the parents, he's immediately the first one to oppose that. Like, dude, keep an open mind. Be open to other people's plans. You're the brains of the team. Oh, and speaking of brains, good God, this guy is pretentious. Second half of the season, he comes up with this very elaborate plan to lock up his parents that involves AWOL. When Livy tells the other runaways, they turn on him. And he tells them, oh, you guys wouldn't understand my plan because I'm so many steps ahead of you. And look, normally I wouldn't include other slides other than the title, a poster of the review, or a poster of the project that I'm reviewing, and then that same poster with a rating. But here, I just have to. I just have to include another slide like this because you know what you sound like, Alex? You sound like this. You sound like pretentious Rick and Morty fans who are making fun of people for not appreciating the show as much as them. Also, please don't read too much into this. This is just... I'm willing to bet that this original Reddit post was just ironic, but this really just does go to show just how pretentious Alex was in this season, especially when he's telling his own friends that he's so many steps ahead of them that they wouldn't understand his plan. Seriously, screw Alex. It's going to be a while before I get back to Runaways, but I really hope that he gets better in season 3 because I want to like him. The actor who plays him voiced Camilo in Encanto, and that was one of my favorite characters in that movie. So I'm hoping at least that season 3 can redeem Alex somewhat, but man, do I not like this kid right now. That being said, that's probably the only issues. That being said, Alex is a major issue, but I can definitely say that when compared to the first season, this is way better. This still isn't great, but it is on the better side of good, and the better side of good gets you a 3 out of 5, which is a good score. I didn't really think I need to say that, but it is good. Actually, this is probably as close you could get to being great while still being good. I am looking forward to seeing what the third season has in stock, but before that, I gotta watch Cloak and Dagger. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for my review of the second season of Runaways. If you enjoyed, you know what to do. I'm not going to bore you with all that generic crap. And I'll see you guys in the next review. Take care.